We're going to learn how to do something extra cool today. This is going to be how to use Python with your PLC. This video, we're going to go over just the basics, what you're going to need to download in order to get this to work, how to set up a Python project, and we'll do a real simple program. We'll just read the state of a tag from our Micrologix. So first thing you're going to want to do is go to this link, and I'll put this link in the description. This is to download Python 2.7.15. It is important that you download 2.7.15 because 2.7.15 comes with a special tool already pre-installed called pip. Pip is just a tool that allows you to download third-party libraries really easily. In Python 2.7, it doesn't come already. You'd have to download it separately. It's a pain. So do 2.7.15 in order to save yourself some time and headache. So come down here, and if you're doing PLC stuff, you're probably on Windows. So you just go over here to the Windows. Probably you're going to need this one, x86-64 MSI installer. You'll click it. Run the executable, you'll install it, and yeah, I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. Then you're going to come over here to Git. You'll come to this link. I'll put a link in the description. You're going to want to download this. Git is basically version control, and yeah, we're going to use Git to clone a library called Pycomm from GitHub, which is basically just a bunch of Python code that someone wrote for us already that allows us to interact with our PLC. So you come over here, again, you're more than likely on Windows, so click on Windows and then install Git. I also want to make a quick note that, yeah, it's 2019 and Python 3.7 is out, but we need to use Python 2.7 because the library that was created to communicate with the PLC, they were written in Python 2. So there's some differences between Python 2 and Python 3. If you try to run this library on Python 3 that we're going to download later, it's not going to work. What we need to do now is set up Python in our system environment variables. So we're going to be running Python from the command line. So if you come over here, type cmd, enter. What we should be able to do is type in Python right there and press enter. And we should be able to run Python. As you can see, it's not set up as an environment variable yet because it says it's not recognized as a command. So what we're going to do is come down here and type in environment, and we'll be able to open up our system properties, click on environment variables, and you're going to want to click over here on path, double click, and we're going to add Python to our environment variables. So open up a new file explorer. And if you come over here to your C drive, Python should have just placed it right here, Python 2.7 in the C folder, or excuse me, in the C drive. So double click it up here, copy this path, and add it here. Okay? You need to do one more thing. You go ahead and click on scripts, copy this path, add it here, and then press OK. Okay, now when we open up our command line, if we type in Python, you can see that it runs Python. So this is how you know you've installed it correctly. Okay, so you can actually code Python in here. See? And then to get out of this, you can go quit, and you're out of it. Also, to check and see if you have Git installed correctly, you can just come over here and type in Git, Press enter and you should get this. And Git should have already been added automatically to your environment variables, so you don't need to really worry about adding it like we just did with Python. Another thing that we can do also to make sure we have pip installed correctly, which again should already be done automatically for you, but you can come over here to pip and then you go ahead and do double hyphen and type in version. And you can see we've got pip 19.1.1 installed. What we need to go over next is virtual environments. The reason for that is we're going to be downloading the virtualenv module for Python. We're going to do that with pip, and you just need to understand what they are in a basic way. A virtual environment is basically a way to isolate all your code and libraries you're using for a specific project. So go ahead and take your computer, for example, right? And in our computer, we've downloaded Python 2.7.15 and we've downloaded some other Python stuff, right? Well, when we create a new Python project, we're going to want to create a new environment for this project. That means nothing from the outside is going to be affecting it. You know, all the code, and you know, if we make any modifications to the library, it'll be project specific. So this is going to contain our specific libraries and code to the project. So think of it just, it's encapsulated in this box. It's encapsulated in this environment, and nothing from the outside is going to affect our project, and anything that we do within our project is not going to affect anything on the outside. So the next place that we need to go is at this link. I'll put it in the description, but this is just basically a guide on the virtual environment module. It kind of tells you how to install it and how to create a new virtual environment. So you can come down here, and this goes over installing pip, which we don't need to worry about right now, but we're going to install the virtualenv. I've already done it, so it'll say the requirement's already been satisfied, but for you to see, we'll go through it. So we'll go ahead and open up a command line, and what we're going to do is just follow what this says here. So on Windows, for installing virtualenv, you're going to go ahead and do Python-m pip install /user virtualenv. Okay, so in my case, I don't use Py, right? I use Python. That's I don't know why. It's just that's the way what works for me. If I just do Py, it'll actually run Python 3.7 because I have downloaded Python 3.7 on my computer as well. So I'm going to use Python because that uses 2.7, and then I'm going to say -m or -m, and then pip install /user, and then virtualenv, and press enter. So your computer, if you haven't done this yet, it's going to start to download the virtualenv module. But you can see where it says requirement already satisfied. I've already downloaded it. Okay. So after you've downloaded it, what we can do now is actually create a virtual environment. But first, I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder, a new project folder to store our project in. So for the sake of being fast, I'm just going to right click and create a new folder here, and we'll just call this test project, and double click it. I'll come up here, I'm going to copy the path, and then let's go ahead and go back over here and learn how to create a virtual environment. I'm going to bring our command line back, and I'm going to change the directory. You can see right now my current directory, if you're not familiar with the command line, this is the current spot of our computer that we're in, right? I can actually come and change my directory from here by typing in cd and then the path that I want to change to and press enter. And now I'm actually in that folder from my command line. And there, from here, you can do whatever. You can create new files or folders or whatever you want to do. Okay, let's go ahead and create a virtual environment. And let's see, let me make this smaller. Okay, so to create a virtual environment, go to your projects directory and run virtualenv. If you're using Python 2, replace virtualenv with virtualenv in the below commands. On Windows, so I'm going to come over here and say Python, right here, and then -m, or -m, excuse me. And we need to replace virtualenv here with virtualenv. So virtualenv. And then here it says env for environment. This is just the name of your virtual environment. So they called it env. We can call ours, let's call it PLC project. And then press enter. Let it do its thing. It's going to create it. One day it will anyway, eventually. Okay. Now if we open up that folder here, you can see it created a new Python virtual environment for us. And it's got all this stuff now. Libraries and scripts, and it's got pip in there now and all that fun stuff. Yeah, so now what we want to do is activate our virtual environment. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go right here where it says on Windows, we'll type in this. So you do period /. Here it says env, but ours is called, what did we call it again? Oh, PLC project. Okay, / bin / sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing here. PLC project / scripts / activate. Okay, so our virtual environment is now activated. You can tell by this right here. And now if we download any sort of module or library from Git or whatever, it is going to be only downloaded within our virtual environment, within our project. Okay, moving on. Next thing we need to do is go to this link here, and I will put a link in the description for it, but this is GitHub. GitHub is where you can create repositories, basically upload your Python projects to GitHub, and you can keep track of, you know, all the changes you've made and all your different files for that project. And then other people, if you choose to make it public, can see your code, and they can fork it and modify it and do their own thing, or they can make suggestions to you on how to make something better, or just use your stuff in their code, which is what we're going to do here with Pycomm. Pycomm is a Python library that somebody was nice enough to create for us that we can use to communicate with our PLCs, either slicks or control logics. The reason you can see here is they have specified that they've currently only tested this library on Python 2.6 and 2.7. So if you tried to use Python 3, you're going to run into some problems. Okay, so the way we're going to grab this project from GitHub, we've already downloaded Git in the beginning, and now we're going to clone this project. So we're going to come over here and copy this, and we're going to go back into our command line, and our virtual environment is active. We're just going to paste this here, and you're going to press enter. And bada bing, bada boom. If you come over here to that folder, you can see Pycomm has been created. So we pulled all the that library from GitHub and downloaded it to our computer, and we put it into our virtual environment. Now let's go ahead and go into Pycomm, because we need to install this library into our project. So we'll double click here. We're going to go ahead and copy this path. Go over here and change our directory. So CD, and then go and paste that path. Oops, what happened? Paste that path. Press enter. We're now in the Pycomm folder. And we are going to go ahead and say Python setup.py and install. Press enter. Okay. So now if you come back here and go into our PLC project, and I believe if you go over here to library, site packages, you can see now Pycomm is now in our site packages folder, which is good, because now when we go in and import this library into our files, our Python files, it'll work. So we can test that out right now actually. So let's go over here and I don't think it matters if I'm in this folder or not. Well, let's just go back. Let's just go back into this directory. And I'm not super good with the command line. I don't know all the hotkey, or not hotkey, but quick command tricks. So I'm just gonna, I have to be ghetto here and paste it. So CD, we'll go back into there. Okay, so now we can just type in Python. And what we can do to make sure that we have gotten the Pycomm library into our project correctly, we can go import Pycomm. And what should happen is that right there. So if you didn't get any errors saying, you know, there's no library or module with the name Pycomm or whatever, then something, you goofed something up. But if you type in import Pycomm and then nothing happens, you press enter and it just goes to the next little terminal line, that's good. That means you did it correctly. Okay, let's go ahead and create a new Python file so we can write some basic test code to see if this all is going to work. So I'm going to go in here to our environment folder here, PLC project. I'm going to just copy the path and then open up the command line because I closed out of it. Come on. My computer's being really slow. All right. I'm going to go ahead and change my directory to that folder. And then to create a new Python file, we'll just go ahead and say CD and then do this, I don't know what you call that, a caret? No, it's not a caret, a right arrow, whatever that is. And then the name of our file, right? So we'll just call it main, and then it's the Py extension, so .py. Press enter, and you can see there, it created a Python file called main. And then to edit this Python file, we just right click, and you should be able to edit with IDLE. So go ahead and do that. Okay, so this is like a little interactive deal that we can write our Python code and then save it, and then it'll run. So let's go ahead and do some code. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this. I don't know why it starts off with this stuff in the file, but delete it because your file won't run with that in there. It'll be very confused as to what the heck is in the Python file. And then let's use some of this example code here. And this is for SLC style PLCs, so Micrologix or Slick. And yeah, let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and import the driver object like they did right here. So we're going to say from pycom.ab_com.slc import driver. Okay, I'm only going to just, for simplicity's sake, just import driver. You can see here they import driver as SLC driver. So he basically gave a new name to driver. So whenever he comes in here right here, and he's referencing the driver object as SLC driver. So SLC driver and driver are the same thing. He just renamed driver as SLC driver. You don't have to do that. The reason he did that is because driver is kind of ambiguous. This is for like a Slick or a Micrologix. If you come up here to the example code for a Contrologix, in the CLX files, it's also got another object called the same thing, called driver, which will do the same thing, but he called it CLX driver just to be more specific and less confusing. But if you don't know Python, you know, this is going to be weird to you. So I'm just going to import driver. You can do it the way he did it if you want. Yeah, cool. So now I'm going to import a function from the time module. So time is a built-in module that comes with Python. Oops, I'm not going to import time. I just want, let's say, from time import sleep. Okay, sleep is a function in the time module, and it's basically just a timer, a delay, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so go down 2 spaces. We're going to try and be Pythonic here. And I'm not going to worry about logging. I don't really care about the logging module right now. So yeah, so we'll do what he did here. So we'll create a new driver object called C. So we'll say C is equal to driver. And we'll go ahead and say if, again, don't let that confuse you. SLC driver, same thing as driver. I just didn't name driver as SLC driver, so I just use driver. Whew. All right. So we'll say if c.open, and we'll put in a string here, and it's going to be our PLC's IP address. So 192.168.1.100. And so basically this is just saying if we're able to make a connection, if our driver object is able to make a connection to this IP address, which is our PLC, then do this, okay? And I'm gonna go here and just go off and do my own thing. So I'm gonna say while true. So if you don't know what this is, a while loop just says, okay, while a specific condition is true, then run this code forever until until a certain condition is met, then bounce out of the loop. So I'm going to say while true, I'm going to go ahead and print the state of a tag. So I want to read a tag state. So I'll say print c.read tag, put in a string here, and it'll be b3 1-0. Okay, so it's going to print, it's going to read this tag, and then it's going to print it. print the state. Then I'm going to want to sleep for, I'm going to do 2 seconds here. Okay, so what's going on here is if we make a connection to our PLC, run this loop, so it'll be while true, print the state of this tag, and then sleep for 2 seconds, and then do it again. Print the state of the tag, sleep for 2 seconds. So it's just printing the tag state every 2 seconds. Okay, let's go ahead and save this. And let's run it. Oh, you can see I wrote a quick program here. Just if I toggle this bit, it'll turn on B310. So this is what we're reading in our Python program, in our Python script. So let me come over here. Okay, I'll change that in a second. So the way we run our Python script, we'll just go Python and then main.py. Okay, cool. It's running, it's working. You can see it's printing out false every 2 seconds because B310 is false. When I come over here and turn on B310, oh snap, look at that. It's reading true now. If you don't think that's cool, there's something wrong with you. Like, you're using Python to read the state of a tag in your PLC. Like, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just like an uber nerd, but that is dang cool. Okay? So yeah, there you go. There's your first Python program. And you know, the goal of this video wasn't to go over the basics of Python. If you don't know like what a while loop is and you know, true, false, you know, print, things like that, then go watch some videos on YouTube like Corey Schaefer or CentDex, or you can even go to khanacademy.com and they've got Python tutorials, and that'll show you the basics of, you know, like what variables are, what classes are, you know, creating instances of classes, whatever, all that fun stuff, importing libraries. If you don't understand that stuff, you're definitely going to want to have, you know, the basics down when you're doing this. So yeah, I'm going to make some more videos on Python with the PLCs. I'll have to think of some cool scenarios, cool things you can do. And yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.